doesn't know us and they listen to this, they'll probably think
like,
I'm like
is fucking
500 pounds. Jack off.
Welcome to the Miller High Life podcast, where we spill our beer and we win our matchups.
Brought to you by the Fantasy Wizards. I'm Duracell Battery.
This is a certified hood classic.
I'm Energizer Battery, so we're
Not
in direct
Bunny.
competition.
Not
Bunny, Energizer Battery, Energizer Bunny. Just keep going and going and going.
So, what's in the news today, Tim?
Well, first up in the news, fucking Breven, Zach Brevens. I missed out on Zach Evans. I'm a Kyron Williams owner. Well, hey, guess what? News this morning, Kyron Williams is going to be out probably 3 or 4 weeks through the bye. And their bye is week 10, the Rams, and so he's expected back week 11. Fuck you, Breven. But really, it's my fault for not being cautious enough to pick him up. But yeah, it sucks. And we don't know. I mean, everyone's saying it's like going to be a committee. Ronnie Rivers, he's injured, right? Kind of injured.
Yeah, right now he's not going to be able to play. But
Yeah, Zach Evans, and then they also signed the Gas Man.
Yep.
Yeah, Miles Gaskin, and then I think there's somebody else in there
Royce
too.
Freeman.
Royce Freeman.
They brought up from the practice squad, so
Yeah, so
maybe just stash Royce.
yeah, I really only would want Zach Evans because he's been talked about so much as far as like prospect goes. He was taken in the 6th round this year by the Rams, and I'd actually heard about him like with Kyron on my team as a deep league stash. Like he could be a sneaky guy, and then this happened. So I'm just really, it's not a huge chance, but there's a chance that Zach Evans just takes the ball, he rolls with it, and then he's got four weeks to prove himself. He could fumble the bag, but he could establish himself and but when Kyron gets back, it's like it's Zach Evans it's him. He's the guy for the rest of the season. Sean McVay doesn't care.
Yeah,
Sean McVay's a liar. We know he's a liar.
Well, I mean, look, Zach Evans, he's still unproven. That's the thing. It's just rookie upside, rookie talent, rookie trying to prove itself.
So is Kyron, though. This is what happened with Kyron.
Yeah, exactly.
Like 5 weeks ago.
So why would it be any different when he comes back that he's just never going to see the field? I don't believe it.
No, I think when he comes back, let's say Zach Evans crushes it for 4 weeks. When Kyron comes back, it'll be a split backfield, I think. That's what I think. But that's worst case scenario. So Kyron will still be relevant. I'm just going to feel like shit personally watching Zach Evans mash. I would rather lose all of my games the rest of the season than have to watch Zach Evans crush it, I think. And maybe I'm still dealing with some Devon A-Chain trauma. So
yeah, I mean, I hear you, but they've been using Kyron. He's like in 90% of the snaps. So maybe Zach Evans sees 90% of the snaps, does well. But when Kyron comes back, maybe he sees 90% of the snaps, and that's the way they play the game, and not just, oh, we have 2 good running backs. We're now going to split carries or split snaps. Maybe they just
but do you think
follow
they would
a game
go,
plan.
If Zach Evans is seeing 90 and he's doing great, and then Kyron comes back, or even if Zach Evans doesn't do that great, but then Kyron comes back, are they going to immediately switch to 90 to the other guy? They're not going to phase him in a little bit?
Just depends. I mean, with an ankle, probably will be phasing him in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we'll wait to see when that day comes. Hopefully, you can pick up I would just stash somebody for a backup plan like Royce Freeman, and maybe Zach Evans isn't good at all. Maybe he fumbles twice in his first game, and Zach McVay is like, "Get out of here, Zach."
I was just a little salty about it personally, but I don't want to stash anybody else on my bench. The reason I didn't pick up Zach Evans is because I got other guys on my bench I'd rather have. I'd rather have Josh Downs on my bench. I'd rather have Chuba Hubbard. I'd rather have Jalen Warren, who's on my bench, but he's in my lineup this week. So, yeah. So I won't be doing that, but thanks
I hear
for the
you.
advice.
It makes sense. You thinking that Kyron was only going to be out a week. Why waste a fab dump on Zach Evans? So
Yeah. We got the hindsight bias. So, all right. Other news that we have: Anthony Richardson. Sorry, Colts fans. He is out for the year. No! He is.
Yep. Well,
down.
as
we are broadcasting live from Indianapolis.
Yeah. So
Anthony Richardson. Right
as
down
a
the
Colts
street.
fan, I wasn't high on Anthony Richardson in anyways as a draft pick, but he's proven himself to be, good as a rookie.
You got to be happy about the Colts' future with him.
Yeah, exactly. It's
really
a bright
great.
future unless
they don't give him an O-line.
this injury history is going to be continuous.
Well,
just
this
like
was the
Andrew
first
Luck.
injury that he had to his arm. The other ones were all concussions, right? Like he was on a concussion streak.
I believe they held him out that one game when Gardner Minshew played against the Ravens due to concussion, and then this will be AC tear, and he has to have surgery on his shoulder. So,
yeah, hopefully it's not a trend, but when he's on the field, he certainly looked great. So hopefully we can bring that back for next year. But as far as the Colts' outlook goes this year, Michael Pittman, Josh Downs.
I see an up. Yeah, but you were kind of projecting them getting an uptick in performance just due to Anthony Richardson getting better as a passer. So, I mean, maybe it's a quicker initial uptick in performance, but I mean, Gardner Minshew should be throwing the ball to Pittman and Downs a lot.
Yeah, he'll be throwing some picks too. Other news: Justin Fields. It was looking like a severe injury or dislocated hand. Everyone was talking about going to be out for at least a week, probably multiple. But now they're saying he might be able to play this week. I don't believe it. I think it's just talk. He'll be out a week, I'm sure. But there is that change in tone to not as severe. Depends on his grip strength, yes, which is that's all that always matters is grip strength. Are you righty or lefty?
Well, if I'm feeling saucy that night, I might be a lefty, but I'm mostly righty.
This is a certified hood classic.
Yeah, you gotta switch it up every now and then to make it feel like it's not you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, try to build that endurance. But yeah, I mean, if he's got a good grip strength, I mean, he should be fine. But it just depends. I mean,
he'll miss this week for sure.
I wouldn't start him if his thumb is bad. It's too risky.
Yeah, start him this week, even if he is active. Yeah, I picked up Jordan Love, and I'm probably gonna start Jordan Love anyways, even if he is active. Yeah, I agree with you there. Okay, and then our last bit of news. What's our last bit of news? I forget.
Deshaun
Watson, quoted as saying, "I'm going to play.
Yeah.
I might play Sunday, but I may play in a week, but it may be 2 weeks,
Yeah.
but it may be a month."
Do you think this is not
Maybe
just a
12
physical injury, but possibly a mental injury? Not concussion wise, just like he's scared. He's playing scared.
I think he's just got like Patrick Starr bouncing around in his head right now. Just this is his brain right now, so he can't focus on anything. He's just I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's really weird. Maybe he's just thinking about massage parlors. I don't. What can you say?
Yep.
Okay, that's
He's
it for
got the
news.
homie blues. He wishes they could rub him down.
Yeah,
nude.
he abused like 12 women. He's like, God, if I could just get 13. And that's why he can't play, because
I
he's
think
just...
it was like 22.
I was 22. I don't know.
Know your numbers, Tim.
I don't know about you.
Yeah. No, it was pretty bad. I mean, it sounds weird, like you have a social agenda, but I was never going to draft him after that. I don't want him on my fantasy team.
Yeah, imagine Cleveland Browns fans. Like, would you be a Colts fan if Deshaun signed with the Colts? Like,
I would probably denounce my fandom
Your
to
fandom?
the Colts. Yeah, no doubt.
I wouldn't be a fan.
One of my favorite podcasts, one of the biggest in America. I mean, Mike Ryan denounced his Cleveland Browns fandom.
Oh, really? Okay.
And now he's a fan of the Shield, he says.
What's that?
The Shield, NFL, the Shield.
Oh,
the
nice,
emblem.
nice. Well, that's me. I used to really like the Seahawks, especially when they won the bowl. But now I'm just a fan of the game. I'm a fan of the Shield. That's pretty cool. I like that. I like that reference a lot. All right, that's it for the NFL news, right? Yep. Okay, now we're moving on to some trade scenarios I want to throw at you because talking to Breven today, and I want.
Oh yeah, let's get. He texted me and he's like, "This dude's crazy."
Did he tell you some of the scenarios?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna throw them at you.
He screenshotted them to me.
We can.
This is funny.
Dude,
I hope he I didn't respond to him. I should have, but I was like, well, this ain't none of my business. This is almost like I'm.
No, man. But now it's gonna be your business.
I'm the cuck. I'm watching.
We're
the trade go down.
We're gonna make it public. We're getting into it on the pod. So let's go into some trade talks.
You don't play it, just play it.
All right, so here's some scenarios I threw at Breven, and we seem to be having a hard time to see eye to eye. I don't know how you got to see eye to eye with him on that Olave for Ford and Garrett Wilson trade.
Yeah.
But so he's got a ton of players on bye. Common scenario, right? On the bye-apocalypse week this week.
Yeah.
He's also got Achane out with an injury, and I think he might have another injury too. So he's really hurting. I just have a couple injured players, a couple on bye, but I'm 4-2. Breven's
1-5.
1-5.
I'm 2-3. So
he's hurting for a win.
We're right next to each other.
Yeah, he's hurting for a win. You're hurting for a win too. But so I was like, okay, I want to trade him. I'm willing to take some L's this week. Especially I'm facing Renee. She's really good this week. I'm willing to take an L. I want to beef up for later in the year, right? So I proposed some trades for Achane. And so one of them I threw out was Addison for Achane. So Jordan Addison for Achane. Addison, he didn't do that great last week, but he did okay. And it's yet to be seen how he's going to be fully in effect with JJ out, how that's going to play out for Addison. But what do you think about Addison for Achane right there? Just straight up, those two.
Well, I mean, if he's needing a wide receiver, wanting a wide receiver, I mean, I feel like it's a fair trade because you got to take the L on him being out for 4 more weeks.
Yep.
Or 3.
Yeah.
However long.
And I'm willing to do that at 4-2, and I feel like Breven would not be, he wants to win right now, and, that makes sense. Otherwise, his season's going to be toast. So he denied that. And then I said, okay, Addison and Downs for Achane. Now, do you think Downs adds a little bit value there, especially with all these players out, and and Minshew, is now going to be the QB for the rest of the season?
I mean, yeah, it adds incentive to take the trade, but I mean, it just depends on what he has to drop, I guess, to get Downs. Is it an upgrade from who he's dropping?
Yeah.
To get Downs. I guess it's just whatever, and depends on what he likes. So, I mean, I'm not hating on these trades. It's just if he doesn't like it, that's how it goes. It's two-way street.
Well, he wouldn't give up Achane unless I threw out who.
Amon-Ra.
Voldemort, man. Voldemort St. Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a simp for Amon-Ra. And
St. Brown Eye is, I mean, he's a great talent, and he's probably going to finish top 8 wide receiver, mostly top 5, I would really guess. But
I would only trade Amon-Ra for. He threw out Nico and Achane for Amon-Ra. I wouldn't do that. I would think about Achane and Breece Hall for Amon-Ra. But I still am really reluctant to give up Amon-Ra. He's on a great offense. He's really the core of my team. Like, he's the core player. So
Yeah, I wouldn't get rid of Amon-Ra. You need those points to keep you in games.
yeah, what's the point of that trade at that point?
I
if
would
you're
do
giving
that.
up your top player.
I would do that trade when Achan is back, potentially, knowing that you're going to go from potentially getting 30 points at random weeks from Achan instead of random weeks with Amon-Ra.
Yeah, but at that point, I have no chance to get Achan if I wait until Breven's not going to give him up like right when he comes back. You know, the time he would give him up is right now when he's desperate for a win.
Yeah,
you know, that's what I thought. And then the final, I said, would you do Addison and Lockett for Achan? And he said no. So Tyler Lockett. But, you know, Tyler Lockett, step up from downs for sure. Those are 2 quality wide receiver starts you can put in your lineup today for this week. Tyler Lockett facing the Cardinals has a really good shot at getting a ton of points. So there's some trade scenarios.
I think it's all great. I mean, I don't think there's a right way or a wrong way of proposing trades. I think you did a great job haggling your price tag and trying to get out what you could, but it just takes the other person to say yes, I agree.
Oh, thanks, bro. So you're saying that I'm asking for reasonable trades and Breven's being an ass.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying
first,
that.
Folks. You heard it here,
Okay.
Breven. You're being an ass.
You're an ass, Breven. Yep, that's what I said.
I'm not going to trade Amon-Ra away for diddly shit. He said, you just want me to gift you a Ferrari and say, happy birthday, boy. That's what he said. And I said, that's what you want me to do.
Send me that screenshot. But yeah, honestly, yeah, it just takes 2 people to agree, you know? It's just like love, making love, you know?
Well,
Attraction.
so far I've only been able to agree with Evan, the van part of Breven, but I don't know. I don't know how you got Brev to agree to your Olave trade, but
He wanted Olave so bad, and he offered me those guys. He's like, I think that's fair.
okay.
That's it.
Well, all right.
Because I think even with Garrett Wilson not having a good passing option, long story short, I think it was a way even trade. I might even went out on that if Jerome Ford can perform.
And Olave is he's not your top guy. You know, he wasn't trying to go after your top guy. He was at that point in the season. He was had he started. I know he started off pretty well, but had he started like performing poorly to expectation?
Literally the week I traded him away, he got like 2 points, and then he's gone back up to like 18 or 12 or whatever. But
Yeah.
I mean, him and Garrett Wilson equaled fantasy points from here on out. Like maybe Garrett Wilson has scored more fantasy points since I traded away Olave.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I see. All right. So those are some trade scenarios. Try to do what I'm doing, I guess. Well, look at teams. So many players on bye, players and injuries. There could be teams that are really at the bottom of your league that are desperate for players now, and you might be able to swing a trade unless they're stubborn asses like Breven. But you might be able to do it in your league with a reasonable person.
Do you want to know what I tried to trade Achan for? I tried to trade Brian like a week ago for Achan.
Who are you going to give up?
JJ and Jahmyr Gibbs. Just straight up for Achan by himself.
I would have done that immediately.
He said no.
So this is
He said JJ might be out longer or for the rest of the season. They're just hiding it, which I understand. I mean, I'm trying to get rid of JJ.
Yeah.
Anyways, I tried to trade Nikki, Adam Thielen, and who was like her RB3, like that she throws in her flex? I don't even know.
I don't know.
I was trying to trade Adam Thielen for JJ, basically straight up, and just like a ancillary piece.
Yeah.
And then she never responded, so I just canceled the trade. But like, I'm trying to sell JJ right now because I don't even know if he'll be back the rest of the season.
Well, let's talk. I might be willing to part with somebody.
Well, yeah. I mean, Collusion, guys. Collusion, if you listen. We keep it straight up here. Me and Tim.
We keep it straight up, yeah.
We're not colluding anything.
We're playing each other next week for week 8, so there'll be
Ooh, that's going to be a good
action.
week of podcasts.
Yeah. All right, so
Head to head.
anyways,
We'll touch tips.
Yeah, we'll touch nips and we'll touch tips. So if you got teams at the or at the top of the league that are willing to sell some players, just look at teams in your league and their rosters, particularly the ones who are really hurting with injuries and buys, because you might be able to swing a trade and you might be able to buy low on some players you might not normally be able to buy low. All right, let's get into the matchups here. We're going to get into Thursday's matchup.
Are you kidding me? That's why I don't read the newspaper. Because it's garbage. And the editor that let it come out is garbage. Where are we at in society today?
Do you know that I actually watched a YouTube video on it recently? That THC actually is kind of like alcohol when it comes to sleep. It helps you get to sleep easier, but it makes your quality of sleep worse.
Yeah, I already knew that. And it doesn't let you REM sleep either, so you don't get that REM cycle.
Yep, true.
Yeah.
So everybody out there using drugs to fall asleep, sorry, there's no easy answer.
No. Yeah.
Drink a nice piping hot mug of green tea. Or, don't drink a Miller High Life.
Yeah.
Drink a Wizard High Life.
Yep.
You sleep well with that. All right. Thursday matchup coming up.
Society's got us in New Orleans.
Society's got us in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, if that's what it's still called.
Yep.
And over-under on this bad boy? Probably crap.
The over-under is 40.
Okay.
So it's pretty low, but it's basically a pick on Saints -1 at home.
So let's start off with the Jags. What do you think about Trevi?
No, Trevi's not been good at all this season.
No, he's not. He's been really disappointing. He scored pretty decent floor, 15 points, like floor. Problem is, there's no ceiling there.
Yeah, and I mean, if you picked him high and you want to use that floor and try to exploit other positions where they have high ceilings, I don't mind it.
You
But
don't want
it's
to
just
play him
upsetting.
against. It's disappointing.
A number one overall pick should be scoring at least like Justin Herbert output, even though Justin Herbert's been not great this season either. But
yeah, we know in our draft it was Trevor Lawrence, then Justin Jefferson, then Christian McCaffrey. I mean, you said number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You mean
in real life?
Draft. Okay,
in real life.
Was he the number 1 overall pick?
Yeah.
Trev?
Yeah.
Damn.
His season. So.
Yeah. Disappointing. This is his 3rd year in the NFL, right?
Yeah, maybe 4th, but yeah, 3rd probably.
And you definitely don't want to play him against the Saints D. He's a streamer at this point. He's downgraded from the top tier quarterbacks down to a streamer. So you want to pick your matchups for that. And New Orleans is not one of those matchups you want to go for streaming. Trevor Lawrence. So.
But he's been keeping his wide receivers at a good fantasy output. So what are you doing with Christian Kirk?
I don't know. I kind of disagree there about the good fantasy output. Like, it's like pretty variable as far as their the points that they're scoring goes. It could be Kirk, it could be Ridley. You never know each given week. So I mean, what are you? Who are you going to throw out there? You throw out Kirk?
Yeah, I'm down with Kirk. I mean, he's basically got 21 points, 15 points, 16 points, 14 points, 13 points. I mean, that's a safe floor. I throw him out every week, at least in your flex. I mean, Calvin Ridley, he's going to be started as a wide receiver 2 every week. I mean, throwing those guys out there, that's what I mean about sustaining those wide receivers.
Yeah,
I mean,
and especially with all the wide receivers
but
out this week, like, yeah, you want to play him. It's just I'm just scared of him a little bit.
Yeah.
Travis Etienne, smash that guy. He's a
tougher matchup this week.
Tougher matchup, but
expect like 16 to 18 points, not like 32.
Yeah, but you're not sitting Travis Etienne. He's an RB1.
Absolutely not.
He's a hard RB1.
Yep.
I mean, he's left or right. It doesn't matter with him.
Big and hard.
Okay.
So Evan Ingram, probably in your lineup too. Been pretty decent throughout fantasy this season.
You start him against the Saints?
It's a tougher matchup, but I mean, you're not going to go against it. It's like the 26th overall worst matchup. So
yeah, I generally kind of like tight ends against tough Ds anyway, because especially better pass defenses, because if you can't throw the ball deep, then they can check it down to the tight end. At least that's the logic that I kind of think of. So, yeah, all right, Evan Ingram, and then Jags D against Saints offense.
I mean, I don't hate it, but I mean, I'm not looking at that matchup as being like the one I'm going after. But if all of their options are gone, sure, you can do it.
I mean, I like it. Yeah, Saints play calling is shit. Sometimes offensive. That offensive play calling is offensive. And sometimes Derek Carr is good. Sometimes he turns to shit. So it could be a week where he is garbage. And yeah, I don't hate this one. I don't hate the Jags D start at all.
With that being said, are you throwing
they can
a
wrap
shot?
up Kamara, but
Are you throwing a shot at Derek Carr and daily fantasy this week?
I mean, how expensive is he? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be cheap. So it as far as fantasy value, I mean, you're not starting him, but I mean, I don't hate his fantasy output. He's got great wide receiving options: Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed. I mean, I wouldn't hate on throwing Derek Carr out in a daily fantasy lineup if you need value.
Okay. I respect that. And so Alvin Kamara, PPR God.
Yes, sir. Yeah, if he's at a cheaper daily fantasy price still, they use PPR. I mean, yeah, I mean, he's a super safe floor. His floor is so high because in PPR because of these dump downs. But
right, yeah, he is a lot different in. For that reason, he's a lot worse in standard. Would you be as excited to throw him out in standard? I mean, are you still throwing him out there in standard leagues?
He's flex worthy in standard at best. So yeah, it's not great, but flex worthy, yes.
Okay, and then Olave in your lineup. Especially with the apocalypse.
Olave is the safest.
Yeah.
But I think Rashid Shaheed, Michael Thomas, also, all three of them are a safe floor to flex.
Shashi.
Rashid Shaheed.
And then Michael Thomas.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
He's still got it going on.
Yeah. I like I said, all three are flex worthy for me. They're not a wide receiver too. They're all flex worthy.
How old is Michael Thomas? You think he's younger or older than Adam Thielen? Make
He's
this a tall boy
younger.
bet. We can. He's younger.
Right now we can settle it right now, I guess,
No, let's not do it.
because we could look it up.
He's younger.
Okay, how about a no guess? I'll look it up right now.
No,
Or
he's
no
younger.
bet, but
He's younger. All right, and then the last bit of that. Saints. Taysom Hill? Talking about Taysom Hill here.
no, and Juwan Johnson. No tight end has really broken out for any good fantasy output for the Saints. Foster Moreau had a decent week one time for 12 points, but I mean, there's so many weird options on offense there.
Yeah. And then the Saints D against Jacksonville offense. I like this start a lot. Saints D is pretty stout overall and pretty underrated. And then especially against the Jags, I at home, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the better matchups this week. I mean, they're higher percentage owned, so if you got them, that's great. So put them in your lineup.
Okay, let's move on to the next matchup.
You whore!
Yep.
Are you kidding me? That's why I don't read the newspaper. Because it's garbage. And the editor that let it come out is garbage. Where are we at in society today?
I told you to take the wizard's stall.
Okay, who's next?
We got the Baltimore Ravens at home against the Detroit Lions. Over and under is 42.5. A little bit more points here. The Lions are +3 underdogs. Who would have thunk it?
Who would have thunk it?
Stephen A's got him number 1 on his Stephen A list this week. Best team in NFL according
The
to
Lions?
Stephen A. Yeah.
Yeah, I would take the Lions in this matchup.
So you're
As I'm
looking
getting
at
the W.
Goff. You picked up Jordan Love.
Yeah. I was waffling between the two, but I wanted that sweet, juicy matchup against the Broncos with Love.
So in Premier rankings, I mean, would you start Sam Howell or Jared Goff this week?
Who are the Commanders facing the Commies? The Capitalists?
The Capitalists, no, they're not facing the Capitalists, but they are facing the Eagles.
Bolsheviks. Okay.
No, they're not
The
facing
Eagles-
the Eagles. That's next week. Whoops. They're facing the Giants, silly.
Oh, yeah, buddy. That's why you kept him. I would go with Sam.
Yeah.
I would go with Sam this week. I am a believer in Goff here. The Ravens' pass D is just really good, near the top of the league. And, yeah, I'm hoping to get him after this week. But
Yeah, I mean, I see you're trying to play it safe, even though you're using a riskier quarterback.
I mean, it's Love, yeah. It's a riskier QB given the same opponent, but
fantasy, if you look at his entire sample size, I think is way safer.
and
bet.
then here's what you said last podcast. You were talking about Goff and how he balled out against the Bucks. Well, the Bucks overall D is good, but their pass defense is actually pretty crap, and their run defense is what's holding up their overall defensive stats. So Baltimore's kind of an inverse of the Bucks as far as the stats go this year. The Baltimore's pass defense is way better than its run defense. So, and then also with David Montgomery going down, it might really affect the balance of the Lions this week. So, I see this as like a big wake up call for all the Lions truthers out there, and little Dandy Landy. This is going to be a tough one to watch, I think, for you.
Oh, I'm putting my money on the Lions. It's a tall boy bet here.
Oh, baby. So we're just taking who's getting the dub as far as
Yeah,
this is the bet
it's just
here?
outright. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not even taking the spread.
Are we in Baltimore?
Yeah,
Okay.
at Baltimore.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take you. We'll do a tall boy bet on that one.
Yeah, I think their schedule adjusted fantasy output for defense against quarterbacks. I don't think the Ravens is as good as what you think they are based on who they've played.
Okay.
I mean, Kenny Pickett and the Steelers. I think they played
Yeah.
Cincinnati when Joe Burrow was injured.
Okay.
Like, I just don't see this as like a super stout pass defense. So
Okay. Could be a wake up call for them. We'll see.
yeah.
I do think it's going to be a very close game, though.
Oh yeah. I mean, as the point spread shows.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the Lions wide receivers. Amon-Ra, you're starting him for sure. You're hoping for a really good day from him, especially after what he did last week. Josh Reynolds. So we're bringing up some Reynolds here on the Lions.
Yeah. Craig too.
Yeah.
As the running back, probably. I
Reynolds
would start
bros.
Craig Reynolds over Jahmyr Gibbs this week. I really think it's going to come out news on Sunday. He's going to be out again. I'm not joking. He's
Who?
questionable, limited in practice still, Jahmyr Gibbs. So I think Craig Reynolds is a must start.
A must start.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yep.
So
because
Craig
this
Reynolds and
pass
Josh.
defense is so powerful with the Ravens.
So which
Even though I
one's
just dogged him.
Which one's Dennis and which one's D?
Dennis,
We're talking Reynolds here.
Yeah, Dennis is Craig.
Dennis is Craig.
D is Josh.
Because Dennis is a narcissist sociopath, and Craig is a narcissist sociopath, and Josh is a bird.
Yep.
So
Yep. He is. Actually,
He's a bird.
have you seen his
get up
face?
there,
He is a bird.
When he catches balls, he looks like one of those inflatable guys outside car washes.
Oh, yeah.
So we're like, whoa.
Yep.
And then he's out there catching the
flailing
ball.
on his arms. But
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't start Josh.
Oh, God.
I would just start Amon-Ra. That's the only thing person I'm confident
Jameson
in.
Williams, you touching him? Maybe
Nah.
DFS play?
No, not even DFS.
Not even.
Yeah, I mean, what has he even done yet? I mean, nothing. So, I mean,
Yeah.
he's just going to work his way back in slowly.
He's warming up that bench for the 40 fab price for Dandy Landy.
Yep.
Okay, and then who are we missing here?
Laporta.
Laporte.
You're putting him in. He's just proven himself, even with a bad matchup last week. Lower
Yeah,
output.
the injury scare.
Yeah, I mean, he should overcome it though. I mean, he's not designated as even questionable, I don't think.
Totally agree here. And then you want to throw the Lions D up against Lamar and the Ravens O?
Probably not. No! But again, I don't hate it. If they're your option, they're your option.
Yeah, the Lions D, their run D is great. But that's all I got to say. So I guess you're counting on that to get you some points there.
Yeah, if the wide receivers of the Ravens are dropping all the balls, I think you have a great shot at getting 10 fantasy
now,
points.
on the other side of the ball there, for that fact, the Lions' run D is great. Their pass defense, not so much. What do you think about Lamar going up here? You know, he's going to have to use his arm in this one.
Yeah, I think you start Lamar.
Yeah, for sure. He's been great despite the poor wide receiver play and not scoring fantasy points. He's still been great.
Yeah, I agree. And you don't start Justice Hill or Gus Edwards. They've just been bad all season.
Yeah, and then I'm really high on the wide receivers here. I mean, just wide receiver. Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
I think he could have a great day because the Ravens are going to have to pass the ball. We're going to see if this offense can finally pull the turd out of its own ass, but because it's been nasty to watch. But I think they're going to click at some point, and I think this might be the week where they click because they have to, because they can't run really. So
yeah, I agree. And then Mark Andrews,
Odell,
you're putting him in.
Rashad, don't touch him. Mark Andrews, he's in for you.
So, and then I think you start the Ravens D too. I know I like Goff, but if you have the Ravens, they're probably in your lineup anyway, so they're startable.
Yeah. Do you know Jared has a brother named Jack?
Jack Goff.
Yeah, buddy.
You got me so hard on that. I didn't even know what to say.
Dude.
I just fell for that. I can't believe
Jackery
it.
Goff. All right, let's move on to the next matchup then.
You don't play to just play it.
All right, who we got?
It's the Cleveland Browns at the Indianapolis Colts.
Rolling Tony Brown town.
Yep. Over under 40. Cleveland Browns are favored by 3. So
I feel like the Colts have played 3 home games in a row now. I don't know.
yeah, they do have this is the 3rd one in a row, I do believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, Philip, PJ Walker is in your lineup
Yeah, he's in your lineup for the Brown Panties game.
for your lingerie football fantasy football league.
Dude, we need a lingerie football fantasy. Lingerie fantasy football. She
But-
took off her skirt. That's 10 points.
Yeah, how do you feel about Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt? Are you starting both? Starting one? Starting the other?
Normally I would say this is a wait and see situation for me, but since this is Bipocalypse, I would throw out Kareem Hunt actually, and I would sit Ford. That's
I
what
think
would
that's
do.
what I'm going to be doing.
I
It's
didn't
the
know
10th
Kareem Hunt
best-
was on our wire. I didn't know he was on our wire.
Yeah, that's why I put him on the waivers episode.
God, man.
Yeah,
I was
he is
scrolling through
highly.
the running backs and I didn't see him.
Yeah,
But
he's kind of down there.
he's kind of down there. Yeah. Well,
Honestly,
good job.
Kareem Hunt is. They're facing the 10th best matchup for opposing running backs for the defense. So it's so it's a good matchup for these running backs, is what I'm trying to say. I say you can start both, but I'm more confident in Hunt. But yeah, that's just due to his fantasy output this past week against Ford's output. But I think you could start both, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah. I would do Hunt over Ford, but I wouldn't hate it if you had to start Ford. Okay. And then wide receivers for the Browns?
I think just Amari Cooper. I mean, you're not starting Elijah Moore until Deshaun Watson's back.
Yeah, even with Braun Panties out there, you're going with Amari Cooper. I mean, given the state of the receivers this
I think
foul players this week.
Amari Cooper's fantasy output last week was pretty decent. So I think you can start him. I really don't think that the Colts' pass defense is that great either. I mean, he scored 14 points last week against Indianapolis. It's the 14th, so they're middle of the road pass defense. I mean, with just all the injury news, Grover Stewart's going to be out this week for the Colts. He's a great defensive lineman. I mean, maybe that affects just more of the running backs, but
okay.
I really see that I feel like Mari
Yeah, he
Cooper
did well
could-
last week.
Yeah.
Even with PJ Walker. So how about Slender Man?
No.
No?
Yeah.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Njoku.
Why am I talking about it? Joke. How did you know?
Because I know all our inside jokes. I mean, we're brothers, bro.
Oh, Slender Man has no face.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's what I meant to say.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I knew what you were talking about, but that cat that's been running around doesn't know. Can you explain to her
Dory,
who Slender Man is? Because I know who Slender Man is.
She knows too. She's in the classic horror video games.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So sorry, Njoku, about your face, but we're not starting you. Cleveland's D. Now I picked them up off the wire, on a lot
pickup.
of people's wire. Against Minshew, I think it's a great start. That's why I picked him up. Minshew throws picks. Cleveland D is really good, just besides the fact that they're playing the Colts and Minshew. So
Yeah, I mean, I see why Browns are favored based on that defense being so good.
yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be close.
It's going to be close. If Deshaun Watson was there, the Browns would be favored even more. But, as it stands, 2 backup QBs going against each other. Should be a barn burner.
So yeah, you're not starting Minshew on this side too, but the outlook looks great for Michael Pittman and Josh Downs.
Yeah, both definitely startable. Are you scared of the Browns D?
A little bit. I mean, that's why I wouldn't start Downs probably. But
You don't think he's safe even with the PPR because he just for the fact that he gets those receptions?
I mean, it is the literal worst matchup for fantasy wide receivers.
Yeah.
Is Cleveland. So,
Yeah.
I mean, for PPR purposes, yeah, I guess you can flex them. But standard leagues, I'm staying away for sure.
We're looking at Pittman here then. Okay. And then the Jonathan Taylor, Zach Moss mess over there.
I think you can start both, and you're just hoping that they both do well this week. But if you're really worried that Zach Moss is going to fall off, this is the week to bench him.
Yeah. I would play him, and then if he has a bad performance, then bench him after that. Or look at the snap counts while the game's going. That's a little bit more telling as to what the future holds. But yeah, I'd still play him, and then tight end for Colts.
Kylan Granson,
God, that's the
Ogletree,
first time I heard their names.
Mo Alley Cox, I think is
Mo
out.
Alley, yeah, a couple of years ago.
It's kind of it's the 30th worst
It's
matchup,
messed up,
so
yeah.
you're not touching
No
those
way.
guys.
Do you want the Colts D in this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, it's the 4th best matchup for defenses. Cleveland's offense.
Playing home against a backup QB.
Low over under. I mean, I don't hate it. I mean, again, you're reaching at the bottom of the barrel. It's a good one to choose.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, let's keep it going.
You play to win the game.
Alrighty, we got the Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots. Over under 41. The Bills are favored by 9.
Yeah, this is a stinky matchup. I mean, it's not going to be a good football game. Although the Bills do play down to their competition. Josh Allen, he's a hard start for you, always. He is dealing with an injury, though, so keep an eye on that. But if he's active, you're playing him. And then James Cook, what do you think about Mr. Cook over here?
I think you can start pretty much every Bill. Gabe Davis, too.
Yeah.
Obviously, Stephon Diggs. So
Gabe Davis, been a bit disappointing recently, but last game, disappointing, but,
he has a great
he's been
matchup this
consistent.
week.
So, yeah, don't be afraid of that. Got a great matchup. And then the tight end duo.
Yeah, you're not starting. I think Dalton Kincaid is the one who's injured, but I could be wrong. You're not really starting either one.
Yeah,
I mean,
despite the matchup.
yeah.
And then Bills D. This is a great matchup. Probably the best in the league.
If you got Bills D, that's awesome.
That's good for you. And then on the other side, we don't know who's going to be quarterback. I mean, but that doesn't really matter here. What do you think about Ramondre this week? It's a tough matchup here.
Yeah, it's tough. I think you just throw him in your lineup hoping he can vulture a touchdown. Zeke has been up in his snap count. You're worried. You're hoping this week Ramondre can pull it out. He is questionable, so watch his status going into the game. He's got an ankle issue. So,
Patriots wide receivers, we don't want to touch any of them. We have no idea what's going on there at QB, and none of them are doing anything worth any fantasy value.
Kendrick Bourne is shoot your shot on him in daily fantasy. I think he will be targeted a lot. I think Bill Belichick likes him in this offense. So,
now, do you think Hunter Henry is due for a bounce back? Do you think his value just cratered? I mean, I've never seen a tight end with so much value completely peak and then just cratered. Like, it was weird.
Yeah, I see a crater still. It's just getting deeper for the rest of the season.
Just it's freaking moon crater, man. Like, dimples,
yeah, I mean, it's the 29th worst matchup, man. And he's questionable. Mike Gesicki saw an uptick in snaps and targets. So, I mean, it's just don't even worry about him right now.
Yeah, and then Patriots D, we don't even want to touch them, right?
No, they're just gonna get outmatched, outmanned, outscored. No, absolutely not.